We will continue with our discussion on forms. I gave an assignment in the last class, so we discuss that later after the class today. Now we have kind of progress in the form. We've discussed input elements at length. We've discussed checkboxes. We've discussed radio input elements, and we've also discussed labels. Now, there is something called the field set. Now, the field set is used to kind of group your form into sections. Let's say, for example, you have let me run this now you have maybe personal data, right? You can group that into a group, and you can also group another data into another group. And the good thing about this grouping is that you can even link them together such that the moment you click on the submit button, all the data in both sections will be submitted at the same time. But if we look at this other example here, I I got this from the internet, so which I try to mimic. Now, the let me see the style sheets created in field set. Let me pull back this border. Now, okay, it's not showing yet. Field set, field set, field set. Okay, so now you can see that this first section consists of the name, the first name, the last name, the email, and the password. And this other section here, this second one is the account type. Is it personal account? Is it business account? And this other one, this third one, consists of where you can upload your maybe a document, for example, maybe picture, profile picture, and so on. So the field set is simply to sectionalize, to put your data into sections. This is the form element. Now we have the field section. For the first field set section, we have another field set section, and the third one, which is this one. And you can look at it as just doing something similar to the sectioning element. We treated sectioning element way back. The section elements, which are the divs, the main element, the article element, the section element itself, the side aside element, the footer element, the header element, and so on and so forth. Those ones are all used to create sections to divide to create somehow. If I use the word layout, it's not technically correct, but I can say it is synonymous to it. So, and that's basically what field set is doing to your form. Now, if you look at this first section, there's nothing new there. We know what is label, we know what is input, right? And I will still discuss more on the attribute, the form attribute, and also as I come by it, I will be chipping it one after the other. For example, look at it required. Required means that this form cannot be submitted if nothing is filled in that section. If I try to submit, you will see that it says that please fill out this field. It shows that you must put something there. If I remove that required attribute, for example, if I if I try to submit, you will notice that it won't complain about this first input element. It will complain about any other element that has that required attribute. Now look at this one. It's no longer complaining about this first element, input element, but now it's complaining about the second input element. Why? Because this one also has a required attribute. So if you want your client to fill, if it is compulsory to fill a section of the page, you must use that required attribute. So now, the rest are not new. But if you come to this second field set, now look at this legend. This legend is acting like a caption. If you come here, look at it. It's acting like a caption for this data, the account type. Now, I could have used the same for this. I can say, okay, personal data. For example, if I come here now, just copy this. If I copy this and put it on top of here and I say personal data, say personal data.
And we want to let them know
If you go
that
back, you will see the caption for that section there, personal data.
spend time with a lot of our first.
So but I can decide to leave it there. It's not causing me any harm. So now let's go on. So the legend is simply to give that section a caption, like what that section is all about. Now, if you go further down, you will see that it is not new for us to for the label. We are used to it. Now we discussed the radio button, the type of input radio in the last class. Now let us now look at this other section. We did not discuss this. Now you must have come across maybe when you are filling a form online that you need to submit, for example, maybe your passport or maybe any form of document, and you will need to upload it, right? Then you click on that element to select whatever file. Let's say, for example, I want to upload. Let me see this file, for example. I can just click on it. You will see that The file is already there. And the moment I click on submit, it will go right to the database. We are still going to come back to forms when we are treating database because remember, the backend connects to the database, and since we are here to get there, so I won't want us to go to dab into it. But for you to create this input field, that's that field there, you use the file. This is it here, right? The upload, the input. So and the type is what? File. No, if you remember, if you want to write if you want an input field that will take only text, we use the text type. The input field that will take a radio button, we use the radio, and also we use a checkbox. But this one now, the type is file because we are trying to upload a file. So um, there's nothing to it is no rocket science anyway, because it's just like what we have been discussing before now. So now, um, if we go down here, you will see a test area, which we already did. And also, remember we discussed this select elements in the last class. If you want to pick one option, right? So we discussed that in the last class. So this is just a combination of everything that that we have been talking before now. And also, if you look at this area, you will see that we have the test area, which we discussed in the last class. So what is new is just what I've explained, the input of the type file for you to upload to upload any file. And that I have explained. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Israel, do you have any question? Mary, any question? Feromi, any question? You're not answering me. No. Sister Iwajesu, any question? Brother David, any question? Now, I want to ask Brother David, Sister Iwajesu, and others. I hope you are able to go through the past lectures. Are you able to go through the past lectures? David, Ewajesu.
Yes, sir. But I'm not done, sir.
Okay, please go through the past lectures because I am stylishly giving you this because you are going to do it. You are going to do this. Right? So, but I will not give you exactly like this, but you will do something similar to this because I know that once you have this one, you will see this one in the recording. You just go and copy and paste, right? But I will give you something similar. So please pay attention, review the recordings, and practice on your own. All right, so now, since there is no question on what we have been discussing, let me see if there is one more. There is one more. I think something called data list. Data list is similar to select elements. Let me see. Um,
Why did you get it from?
okay.
Taking
All right.
them
So
aside.
data list is similar to select elements. Now, the only difference is this. Now, unlike the select element, you have your select, right? You have your select element. Then you close your select here. Then you have your options, right? You have your options, option, and so on and so forth till options, and now till your last option, right? But in data list, you can have say an element, right? It will have something called, I think, data list, either data list or just list. So this attribute of this element will now target where you have it will target the name or the ID of where you have the list item. Let me see whether I have it in the I have it as an example here. This is inputs. This is just give me some seconds, please. Trying to see if I have an example somewhere here. Okay, okay, I've explained the field sets. Yes, you can see now. Look at this example here. You will notice that this input element has this list attribute, right? Whose name is what? Browser. So now the name, the value of this attribute, the value, please take cognizance of the jargons I'm using. You know, this is attribute. This one too is an attribute. And this is value for this attribute, and this is value for this attribute. Now, this list attribute, the value is browsers, and that value must correspond to the data, to the ID of this data list, which is this, right? And it is necessary for the two for that for that for the for those for the list attribute and the ID attribute to tally, because without it being equal, this input list will not be able to recognize this as option, unlike the select element, where Can you see my screen? You are not seeing my screen.
No, sir. We are only seeing the board.
You are not talking. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now, this is the input element, which has what? A list attribute, and its value is browser. Now, I want to repeat. Always take note of the jargons I'm using. This is an attribute. This is also an attribute. This is a name attribute. This is a list attribute. Now, the value of this list attribute must be equal to the value of this ID attribute for the data list element. If not, if they are not equal, this input element will not be able to be linked to these options. And that is the difference between the data list and select statement. If you go back to the code and where we use, let me go back to where we used select statement. Select, did we use select statement here? No. This one. Now look at this. You can see that this one, the select statement holds its own options directly. There's no linking done anywhere. The options are the direct children of this select element. However, if you look at this, the options are not direct children to this input element. They are linked using this list this list attribute. So this list is referring to this data list, and therefore the value of this list must be equal to the ID of that data list. Is there any question? Is there any question? If I copy this now, just copy this for also, let me just paste it. Let me see whether, I hope I won't scatter anything, but let me just paste it there. Just so view. Now, this this is the select statement, and this one is the data list. So they do almost the same thing, but it's just in a different manner. I can pick only one. I have the option to pick just only one, and here I have only option to pick one too. And hey, now again, look at it. The moment I select, okay, let me select one here, right? Let me just select one. I can see, once I click on this, I can see other options to reselect. For this one, once I select, for me to select another option, I have to clear that option for me to see the other options. If I select Safari now, if I click on this drop down, I will not be able to see other options, which is unlike the select element. So this I will need to clear for me to see the other options. Is there any question? Is there any question? Joshua, any question? Joshua, any question?
No.
No question. Feromi, any question?
No.
Okay. Now, um, the last thing I would like to discuss on form before we cross over to CSS today is the ability to disintegrate, divide a form into two. Now look at this form. Look at this. Now you will notice that I created this form element and I have a label, then an input of type text to get maybe my first name, and I have submit button here, and right below, and I've closed the form element, right? And right below it, I now created another label, an input element. Let me run this so that you see what I'm talking about. Now look at this. It's like dividing a form into two, right? But the good thing is that I can still link this data and this data together such that the moment I click on this submit button, right, the two data will be submitted. Now, okay, I said the last thing. No, I forgot that I will still need to talk about the attributes. All right, so now you will notice something here in the attribute of this input element. You will notice this form attribute, right? This form attribute is linked to the ID of this form. Look at this form element. It in its attribute, it has an ID of form. Now, if you want to relate any other input field or any data field or form any form element, if you want to link that form element to this form to this form, right, you will need to identify the form ID you are trying to associate the form element with. For example, now look at this. I created this form element, gave it an ID of form one here, and inside this form one, I only have the label, and also I have just the one input element, which is this one, my first name. Then I can click I can click submit. But at the same time, I now created, okay, this other field here. Now, if I remove um this this attribute from here, there's no way this can be linked to this. Now, let me see. I think I created a server somewhere. Let me just see. What server is that? I must have created a server somewhere. Okay, I think it's this one. So let me just start this so that don't worry about this one. Like I said, we will discuss about this later. Let me just start this server. Body for first name so that you will see how the data is being captured. So node, no, hold on. I need to change the directory into that. Let me say this. That is back end. CD back end. Then ls. Yes, node index. Okay, so let me just start my server and see. Okay, welcome to the backend. Okay, good. So now let's go back to this form. Now, if I fill this form now, let's say I say Mary, JJ, and I click submit. Because I did not link this input element with this form, this data will not be submitted. Only this will be submitted. So let's try it. If I click submit, you will see welcome Mary. This is undefined because there's no last name there. Why? Because the because the last name could not be submitted. It's not associated with this form. But the moment I include the form attribute there and I indicate the same ID here, form one, and I go back and load the same thing, and I click submit, you will see now that at the back end, I can receive Mary JJ. So you can see that this section of the form, of the input form element, I'm able to link it to this form. It's like writing this form element within this form element. Ideally, these two should have gone right within this form element, ideally. But no situation can warrant it that you will need to kind of break the form into sections. Yes. Although I can't think of one straight off from my brain at the moment, but situation can warrant it. So there is need for you to understand that you can link um, form elements which is outside the form element, the form tag element. You can link it together using the form attribute on the input element, giving it the ID, the value that is equal to the value of the ID attribute of the form. Is there any question? Is there any question? Okay.
Could you explain that again, please?
Explain what exactly again? Be specific. Specific. What exactly am I explaining again? I said so many things.
Never mind. I was recording.
Okay, I should not mind you watch recording. Okay, that's fine. All right. Is there any other question?
So
Okay. What's the question?
I have a question on how do you link the backend?
I said don't ask me a question on backend because we are not there. Whatever I explain backend, you will not understand. So I said
Okay.
don't worry about the backend now. We are not there yet. So let's focus. I just did this to demonstrate that you can segment your form and link them together. It's just a proof, right? Which is this. And the moment I go back, remove this attribute, I will not be able to join them together again, right? You see, this is no longer there. Why? Because it's not linked into the form element here. So I can link this input element into this form element by giving it that attribute form, then the ID of that particular form, which is this very one here, this one here. So any other question? Let me close the back end. So don't worry about the back end. It's not for your consumption now. It's just to explain the topic. Any other question? Okay. Now, I just kind of open the back end just for you to understand that your there's a you can link the front end. You can link your front end, which is in this case, the browser. You can link it to the back end, which is the web server now. Web server. Like I said, this will be discussed in later when we get to that level. And this will now be talking to a database. So this is a database somewhere. So what this is simply doing is that the moment, for example, you fill a form and you click that submit button, it will send this data to the backend. What the backend will do is now to connect to this database to save the data there and save it on the database. Now, when you're now trying to maybe let's say this one at the very first time you are signing up, you have you have your username, password, confirm password, email, and so on and so forth. You submit, and the data is now saved. Now, at other time, you are not trying to log in. So you now put in your username, for example, and your password, for example, and you click submit. So what will happen is that this also will go to the back end, right? And the back end will now do some comparison. It will compare this data, user data, and this user password. It will compare it with the value from the database. So this backend will fetch. We try to fetch to look up, okay, is there any user called maybe Mary, for example? We try to look for a user called Mary. Okay, once there is a user called Mary, it will fetch the saved password from here. It will fetch it down here, and it will now compare, is this password equal to this password from the database? If yes, then this user is authenticated. And that is when you will now go to another page on your browser and so on and so forth. We will discuss more details about that. So this is just a preview of what is happening at the back end when you click on the submit button, this submit. And the moment you click on this button,
Amen.
you
Amen.
are telling the form to go and submit this form to this address. If you notice, when I open up the back end, let me just quickly do it again, just for,
Hallelujah.
please mute yourself. Let me just quickly do it again, just for demonstration's sake. So when I open where is the browser again? When I open the backend, right, you can see this address. It is exactly the same thing to the action of this form. Look at this action. You can see that the address is localhost column 3000, exactly what I have here. It must tally. So what this is saying, this action attribute, and that is what we have right here. Here, you can see the action here. It specify the action specify where to send the form data when a form is submitted. So the once you click the submit button, the form will be submitted to this address, which is most of the time at the is the back end. And the method, right? The method is the HTTP protocol method that is used to submit that form. We have different methods which we won't be going into now. We have different methods. For example, we have the get method, we have the post method, we have the push method. We have so many. And we have also, I think, the patch. Yes, the patch method. We have delete method. These are the ones I can remember right now. I think there are more than this anyway. Now, but the most commonly used are these two, right? And this one is frequently used. It is when you want to delete something from the database. That is when this is used. Now, this gets and post, what is the difference? The difference is this: whatever you submit using the get method will appear within your URL. I repeat, whatever data you submit using the get method, it will appear within the URL. And that is the more reason why most of the time get is not used. For example, maybe you are trying to log in, you have your user and your passcode, right? And after you you input your username, maybe your username is what's it called, Stone Age, right? Stone Age, and your password is 1234. The moment you submit, you click on that submit button, you see these details will appear within the URL after the question mark as like a query string. But if you use the post, this is more secure. It will not display your username and it won't display your password in the URL. Let's see whether we can even particularize this with the sample data. I'm not sure whether, let me just see. Let's go there and see what happened. Now, if you look at this current example that we are treating, let me see whether I've linked. Okay, yes, it's linked back. So when I selected and I click submit, I have the data submitted. Now notice that there's nothing in the URL. Now let's go back and see. Let's change this to get method, for example. Now let's go back to our form. Now let me submit the same thing, right? And I click that. Now look at it. Look at this. You can see the data right there. You can see Tola and JJ, assuming that this form is about username and password. That is how hackers can easily get that information. And many years ago, when web development maybe was at the development stage, many password got lost to the hackers through this means, because many developers and they weren't aware of these insecurity acts, right? So, but with time, they now kind of improved, and more security features started coming in, right? To the level that even when you even submit your your password is not just stored in text. This is just pure text format. Once you submit down to the database, once it goes to the database, it is encrypted, right? JJ, if I assume that this is my password, JJ is my password will not be stored as JJ on the database. Never. There is no professional developer that will do that. It is insecure, because if not, ordinary database administrator can peek into people's password and hack into their account. So password is never stored in text. This is text. JJ is text. But by the time the password will go through process, let's say this is your pass, right? It will go through what we call the hashing, right? And what will come out is gibberish, something that you won't even have meaning, you can't get meaning of. Oh, I've gone out of that page. So you can't even read meaning to it. It should be gibberish, nonsense. You can't even interpret it. So it is this now that will now be stored on the database. This will now be stored on the database, right? Your password will never be stored in plain text like JJ. No, plain text. Plain text. It will never be stored in plain text. Never. Right. So is there any question in what we have discussed so far? Any question? Okay. Now, autocomplete is just, maybe you have visited a site where, okay, for example, even this one, look at this one, right? Because I have filled my name here before. The moment I type T, it will suggest, right? It will suggest something for me, and it makes my work easier. So if I filled something before, and also, even if I do not fill anything before, right? Um, Once I am typing, maybe I want to type annotation, right? It will try to auto-complete this annotation for me. Okay, let's see this form here. Let me put in autocomplete attribute there. So let's on. So let us go back. Let's say I want to do annotation. Okay, it's not giving me. It should give me anyway. Maybe I'm not getting. Okay, let me see query. Query. Oh, it's not giving me what I expected anyway. It should suggest to me that okay, I'm trying to write query there. Let me see attribute here. Attribute. Okay, it should suggest to me. It should. I don't know why this is happening. Okay, let me just run it again. Um, Live server attribute. Okay, it's not giving me what I expected. It should. Maybe my, but this is Chrome. Chrome should support it. Anyway, that is what autocomplete is doing. It should give you suggestion. It specify whether a form should have autocomplete. It should give you a suggestion of what you want to type. The encryption, just like I said earlier on, encryption is just to encrypt your data, not storing your data in plain text. Then I've discussed method. I've discussed the get and post method. There are like I said, there are other methods which we will see discuss later when we are talking about data, the back end. So now, and that is pretty much about the important things. There's no way one can cover everything in this in the class. So please, the documents are there online. You have your MDN. You can go further and find more about the form elements and any other HTML elements. Although, like I said, I have said this before, when we get to CSS, we will still be talking about HTML elements. There's no way we can't stop talking about it because they are interlinked. We can't talk about HTML successfully without talking about CSS. At the same time, we cannot talk about CSS without talking about HTML, right? So in this HTML class, um, we, we have been able to talk a little about CSS, although now we are about to go more into details of CSS. So is there any question on what we have said, on what I've explained so far? Is there any question?
So,
Yes.
can we use JavaScript to do this segment form?
Can we use JavaScript for what? To do what?
To do like the form, to make a
Form.
form. Yeah.
I'm trying to understand the perspective where you are coming from. Are you asking if you can use JavaScript to create form elements? Is that what you are asking?
Yeah.
Yes, you can use JavaScript to create elements. Yes, the answer is yes. But why do you want to use JavaScript to create elements? Do you know JavaScript?
No, no, but I was just curious.
Okay, you must have seen it somewhere. Did you see it on YouTube?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, you can use JavaScript to create any element. It's not just form elements. That is what we call the DOM. the DOM manipulation. Manipulation. So you can use it to create. You can use JavaScript. Yes. But you are not there yet. So I won't talk about it. Any other question? Okay. Now, in the absence of question, let me close this one. In the absence of question, we can now go to, okay, before I go to the assignment, in the last assignment, let me see. I think I created a form that I want you to create for me. Okay, yes, this one. Now, I want you to create this form. I purposely made it simple with little CSS. You will still need to use CSS anyway. You can see that. You can see that I've been I center the form, right? Oh, sorry about that. I center the form. So I center the form, right? Like that. So by now, this one should not be difficult for you to do using CSS. So I want you to create this form, right? You can add more options here. You can add HTML. You can add HTML. You can add CSS. You can add JavaScript. So you can increase your options, right? Then what else? You can look at this role here. I want it. Yes, is it full-time study you want? Is it part-time study you want? Then I should be able to select one out of these two. But you will notice that automatically, definitely is selected. If I refresh the page, you will see that this is already selected. But a client can decide to say, no, I don't want to refer, or maybe I'm not sure whether I will refer. So maybe you can even put you can insert another option. Option of what? Never. Never. I want you to insert this option. Insert this option never here. Let it be. I want to see three options. Definitely, maybe, never. I want to see it here. Then I want to see 5 options here: HTML, CSS, JavaScript, C Sharp, and Java. Then you can provide, yes, you have to provide a feedback, which is this. Now, if I want to ask Joshua, what type of element is this? This one. Joshua, what type of element is this?
The border.
A border element. Is border an element?
No,
So why do you say border?
I mean,
I'm talking about this rectangular box here. This rectangular box. Everything. What element is this?
I don't think
You don't know. Okay. Let me call Feromi. Feromi, what element is this?
I think it's block element.
Yeah, you are talking about the layout of an element. I'm asking what is the name of this element? What is the name of this element? Mary, what is the name of this element? Mary, what is the name of that element? Ademola, what is the name of this element?
That is that text? Like the type?
A test? Okay,
Wait,
what is this? What's the name of this element?
a isn't that a form?
Yes, of course, they are all form elements, but what is the name of this type of form element?
That type, that's um yeah, that's text, right?
Sir,
Is test an element?
It's text area.
sir,
Which
I
one,
think it.
which one is
Sir,
test
I think
area?
it's label. I think it's label element. I think it's the label.
Hold on, hold on. Don't mix everything up. Now, which one do you want to answer? Are you attempting this or you are attempting this? This is the first. This is the second. Are you attempting the first question or the second question?
This is maybe the first question.
Okay, the first question. Okay, so what what is the name of this element? M- Mary, I can't hear you.
Text area.
Test area. This is test area. Test area. That is test area. Now, the second question, what is the name of this element? Feromi, are you trying to say something on this? What is the name of this element? Israel, what is the name of this element? David, what is the name of this element?
I guess it's input element with a type of text.
Who is talking now? Is that David?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, David. This is input element. This is input element with type
Text.
tests. Thank you. Type test. It is very important. These are little things that you must be able to know at the back of your mind. You're right there at your finger at the snap of your fingers. And we have discussed this enough to me. What is this what is the name of this element? Sister Iwajesu, what is the name of this element? That's question 1. What is the name of that element? Joshua, question 1. What is the name of this element?
The input check element.
Huh?
Mm.
I can't hear you. Feromi, what is the name of this element?
The label element. I think it's the label element.
You think. Okay. Me, for me, I don't think. I know is a label element. This is a label element. Now, what is the name of this element? Number 2. Feromi.
I know that it's the input type.
Input element.
Yeah,
Oh.
input element.
Okay, what's the type? Because whenever you are talking about input element, you must be able to identify the type also. Because there are different types of input elements. So what's the type of this?
I think, wait, I know that it's radio.
Radio? No, it's not radio.
I think, yeah, it's text.
It's test. Yes. These are the various types of input elements. Various types. Yes. It can be test. And also, it can be a number because age is a number. Now, I want Sister Ewajesu, what is this type of element? Number 3.
I think radio.
Radio? No, radio is not an element. Radio is not an element. Put it. You are on the way to getting it, but you are not putting it in the right perspective. Ademola, what is the name of this element?
I'm not sure. I also thought it was radio too.
Somebody is raising hand. Person has dropped hand again. Okay. Who can I ask now? David, what is the name of this element? Number 3.
It's an input element with the type radio.
Thank you. Is an input element. Radio is not an element. This is an element of type radio. I stressed this before. It was even David that answered this very first one, and I stressed it there. An input element of type radio. Of type radio. Say it in the right manner, the right jargon. Now, let me clear this element. What type of element is this? What is the name of this element? And the name of this element. Then the last for today, the name of this element. Mary, what is the no, not Mary. Let me start with Israel. Israel, what is the name of this element? This one, number one.
Yes, sir.
What is the name of this element? One.
Number two, okay, sir.
Number one. I'm talking
Number
about.
one is
Yes.
input.
You said?
Number one is input, sir.
I cannot. You are breaking. Number one is what?
Number one is still input, sir.
It's still input. Are you sure it's input?
Number one is input.
Okay. Israel
Yes, sir.
said input.
Oh, I'm seeing. Sorry.
Okay. You want to correct yourself or you want to add more information? Do you want to add more information or you want to correct yourself?
I think it's a drug.
Huh?
Let me stop at. I think
Sister Mary, number one, please.
option.
Sister Mary, number one, please. What is the name of this element? Huh?
Select an option.
Select element. No, option is not there. Just say select element. The options are the content of the select element. So this is select element. Select element. So now the options now are now here. But everything is what? The select element. Now, number two. Joshua, number two. What is the name of this element?
Radius.
You said what? Input?
Radius.
Radio.
Yeah.
No, not radio. Peromi, what is the name of this element?
It's an input type element.
Okay. Input element. What's the type?
Radio.
No, it's not radio. It's not radio. Ademola.
Yes, sir.
So, can you finish the statement? Peromi said is an input element of type radio, but I said it's not radio. So what type is it?
Is that for number two?
Yeah, for number two.
Is it option?
I should give you option. No, there's no option.
No, I'm not saying.
Okay. Interesting. Many people have not reviewed the video. It is obvious. It is so obvious that the lesson notes are not being reviewed. Um,
Sir,
yes.
it is checkbox.
You have gone to spy. It's good. It's good. At least it is allowed to make research, right? Who just said checkbox now? Who said checkbox now?
Me.
Who is me? Is that fair on me? Fair on me? Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yes. Thank you. It's a checkbox. It's a checkbox.
Mm.
Because it is a checkbox because I can easily check this and check that. Okay. So now the last one for today. The third one is what? What element is it? What element is this?
String.
Who wants to try? What element is this? Who is talking, please? See your name. Israel. Okay. Okay, it's input. Okay, input. What's the type? Input element with type.
Button.
Type what?
Button type.
Button.
Button.
Okay. Anyway, well, yes. Okay, I will give it to you. It's because it can be a button. No, can it be a button?
Yes. It can be a
No,
button
no,
too.
no, 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 no,
Can be,
no, 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 no. I disagree. No, no, no. It cannot be a button because button is an
okay.
element on its own. Button is an
Yes,
element
yes.
on its own. So it cannot be a button. No. What type is this? Is this one?
Can I help him out, sir?
Yes, you can help him out, David.
I think it's submit, sir.
Yes, thank you. It's submit.
Wow.
It's submit.
What? I don't understand.
Input element with type test. Input element with type password. Input element with type email. Input. Oh, okay. Yes. Israel is actually right. Israel is actually right. Yes, there's type button and there's type submit. But there is also
No.
a button on its own. Yes. I know of this one for sure. This one. There's also um an element of type of button element. I think that confused me. So Israel is right. So there is input of button, then input type of video, checkbox, even color, date, file, which we discussed, month, image, range, number, and so on and so forth, even telephone number. So now this brings us to the end of form. And I have given out the assignment to review the video to get the assignments. So now let me end today's class. Then we go
Sir, I
to
have a question, sir. Okay.
I
what's the
have a
question?
question too.
Okay,
Sorry,
what's the
sir.
question?
Is it possible for us to get the slide you use, sir?
This slide.
Yes, sir.
It's my slide now.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
you have the video.
Okay, sir.
You have the video. Is there any other question?
No.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what other question do you have?
Sir, for the age,
Age,
the
okay?
phone age, can
This
we
one?
use the input type? Yes, input type date.
Yes, of course. Yes, you are right.
Okay.
Yeah, I can let's go to the, oh, no, I don't want to show you my code. It's an assignment. You are going to do this. Uh-huh. You can use age. Yes, you are correct. See, you can use this one. Where is it here? Dates, because is you can use this one. Yes, why not? But remember that it's not saying that date of birth, right? It's saying age. Age is a number. But if you use,
Okay, yeah.
yes, if you use this one, let me go to another form so that we can see that in effect. If I come here and I say input, and I say, okay, let me just let me give this a label. Let me just say label. Label for date of birth. And I say date of birth. So I can now say type. No. Type is date. I can say my ID for that is DOB, because remember the 4 must tally with the ID here. Give it a name, same DOB. And let me run this again. Now you can see. Okay, let me put in this. Let me put in this one there so that it will break it into the next line. So I can now click on this, select a date, maybe born in year 2000, year 2000, November or May. Let me use April. No, we are in March. March 26th. So this is date of birth. But note that this one, what I'm showing you here, where is it again? What I'm showing you here is not date of birth, it is age. So it has to be a number like maybe 23 or 12 and so on and so forth. Aha. So is there any other question?
Thank you, sir.
All right. Don't worry, David. I can decide later to share this slide, but for now.
Thank you, sir.
For now, it's not complete yet. You can see that
Okay.
I still have so many spaces there.
Oh,
So, any other question? So no question. Let me stop the recording.